for our little lesson on slope, we want to be able to write an equation in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So right now we're just going to focus on the slope part of it, but we're going to need to be able to find the slope. We're going to need to be able to find the relationship between the slope and the steepness of the graph, and the meaning of the slope in context of the application. So for example 1, it says, in 2004, Dave began a job where his annual salary was $32,500. He continued working at the same company for the next several years, receiving a raise each year. In 2013, his salary was $58,240. Assume there's a linear equation that represents the salary, y, in terms of x. Find in terms of years, which is x, find and interpret the average rate of change. So the first thing that we need to do is identify ordered pairs. So the ordered pairs here, the first one would be 2004 and his salary in 2004. And the second order pair would be 2013 and his salary then. Now, some problems will have you start, instead of having 2004 and 2013 as your x values, it may say let 2004 be x equals 0, okay? And then, so 2013 would actually end up being x equals 9. It just depends on what the particular problem asks you to do. It says to use the slope formula. So, the slope formula, if you'll remember, is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now, I usually say this as subtract the y's over subtract the x's. It's the difference in the y's over the difference in the x's. You just have to be sure and start with the same point each time. So if I start with the second point here, that would be 58,240, that's the y value, minus the first y value, 32,500, over the second x value, 2013, minus the first x value, 2004. So we get 25,740 over 9, which is 2,860. What does this mean? It says interpret it. So how do we interpret this? Well, here's the way I look at it. The y values were money, right? So that's $2,860. And on the bottom were years. And so in this case, 2,860 is just over 1 year. So to write this as a sentence would be Dave's salary increased, because it's positive, by $2,860 each year. Let's look at another example. For this one, it says Sam bought a car in 2013 for $34,000. So there's our first point. 2013, $34,000. In 2016, he decided to sell his car, and the Kelley Blue Book value for his car was listed at $25,200. So you see how I just went ahead and wrote my 2 points as I was reading the problem. And then we'll use the slope formula again. So y value of the second point, subtract the y's minus the y value of the first. Subtract the x's, x value of the second point minus x value of the first. And we get negative 8,800 over 3, which is negative 2,933.33. To interpret this, it's negative, and we're dealing with money for the y values, $2,933.33. And so we can put 1, again it's year, on the bottom. Now we don't just leave it like this because there's no such thing as negative money. What does this mean? This means that Sam's car depreciated or decreased, either way, decreased in value by $2,933.33 each year. And then there's a few of these for you to try.